Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's 2022 and the Power Hour returns. I am Steve. Of course, that is the urban sensation, the icon, C Red. Happy New Year, Red.
Happy New Year.
And man, we are not even slowing down. It's starting off hot and heavy. Our first guest of 2022. We are privileged. We are thrilled to have here the owner of Rocket Pro Wrestling, one of my favorite promotions that I get to work at. I'm blessed. It is none other than Bill Schelli himself. Bill, welcome to the Power Hour.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Happy New Year to both of you. It's a brand new wrestling year.
Man, and this is my first show of the year, so we've been off for a few weeks, which is nice.
1 week.
Well, you've been off 1 week. I've been off for a few weeks. But it's always
all the time.
Well, I can't. You've got so many jobs. You're like the wrestling prostitute, but I love you anyway.
Hey, somebody's got to do it, right?
But Rocket Pro, coming up this Saturday night, St. Joe's Park, Joliet. It is RPW Resolution, and boy, we've got a hot mess of storylines to talk about tonight with Bill, and we will get to all of these things as we go. But Red and I love stories. We love to tell stories. We love to hear stories, and I wonder if all the people know your story. You're very visible at the shows. Everybody knows who you are. You walk around, you're a very visible figurehead. You interact with fans and promoters and all of these things. You were running up in Berwyn, giving them support, doing what promoters do or what they should be doing. You believe that everybody's in this together and we all support each other. And I think that is noble. Tell me how Rocket Pro came to be. Now, I got asked to come to Rocket Pro and I'm like, well, I'll go. And when I got there, I'm like, how did I get here? It's one of the most amazing places to work. But how did Rocket Pro become what it is today?
Well, wrestling's been in the blood of the family for many, many, many years. I may be dating myself by saying this, but early 70s, we only had about 6 or 7 TV channels. And you guys probably remember Channel 26 on Sunday morning, there was no cartoons on Sunday. So Sundays, we would all watch wrestling on Channel 26 with Ben's Auto Sales being the only commercial in between each match. But my uncles and grandfathers would all watch. I even remember in black and white watching it, and they would have their beers with an egg in it, which I still don't understand today. But it goes all the way back to then. Then they would put us in these holds, and we were always into wrestling. My wife and myself are both big wrestling fans. Her father as well was a big wrestling fan. So I was into WWE tremendously when I was in my teenage years. I was part of the Gorilla Monsoon Monday Night Primetime generation with Bobby the Brain. So every Monday, we wouldn't be watching the NFL. We'd be watching primetime. So that kind of just kept going, and WWE was the thing. And as I got older, my son came into the world, and he was all Star Wars. Everything was about Star Wars. Took him to a match at the Allstate Arena. The lights go dark, and dong, the Undertaker comes out. Oh. Well, Star Wars is immediately gone out of his life.
Well, that makes sense because Undertaker is essentially wrestling's Darth Vader. And there's no doubt about that.
Just the look on his face. And what it did, Steve and Red, is it bridged a generation to where I saw it happen with my son. So part of wanting to always own the pro wrestling company or to be a part of this is the fact that those young fans that you see at Rocket Pro, those are the future big fans that are going to bring their kids to keep our business going for all of us. So I think of it that way. But the actual way the company started was I asked my son when he graduated college, what do you want? My father bought me an 82 Trans Am. It was used, but that's what I got when I graduated college. Now, my son, I said, what do you want? And he goes, Dad, I want a wrestling ring. So I was like, a wrestling ring. Okay. So he pulls up everything. I already researched it online. I only want the one that they make for the WWE. Here's the supplier for the WWE. Let's get this. So I wound up ordering an 18 by 18 regulation ring. Not even 2 weeks later, they call and say somebody stiffed them in Oregon with a 20 by 20 ring. and he's got it in his warehouse. And for the same dollar amount, he would give us the 20 by 20 ring. Needless to say, that wrestling ring was in my backyard in Downers Grove for 2 years. We spent probably 2 years keeping the rain off of it. And then when the sun was out, it was too hot to wrestle in it. I was an avid Pro Blitz fan. I am a St. Joseph Joliet parishioner. So we would always go to see the show and at Tony shows at Pro Blitz at St. Joseph's Park. And going to that, I got to know people. I got to know Shogun and Tony and a bunch of other people. And I kind of molded myself after what Pro Blitz was doing when it came to production, because it was really one of the best around at the time. We all enjoyed being there. We all felt like part of the family. When Tony stopped running at St. Joe's, that put a world of hurt on St. Joseph, on the park itself, because that's a lot of revenue that comes in per month for the show. Many people don't know, but all alcohol sales at St. Joseph's Park go directly to the church. So that is one of the reasons that we decided to at least give it a shot. Father said, hey, if you got the ring, you got the business, let's give it a go. Rocket Pro Wrestling, the actual name, I couldn't think of the name of the company, and I was filling up my gas tank. You know, they got the gas station TV. Well, what came up? Rocket Mortgage. I'm like, that's it, Rocket Pro Wrestling. There's nobody else that has that name. And, you know, being a good marketer, hey, I can use their Rocket. Because at first I was like, Rocket Mortgage. So I think I got the same reaction from the independent wrestling world, Rocket Pro Wrestling. But that's how it all came about. That's how it all started.
That is Red. Did you know all that? Red knows everything. You probably knew all that. I am blown away by that story. Red, what do you say?
No, I didn't. I'm kind of taken aback to know that he was just pumping gas, you know.
That's how effective those gas station TVs are, man.
Right.
You know, because the inside joke when the company started or had announced that it was starting, we all kind of looked at Marche like, dude, you starting your own company and you ain't tell nobody, you know, like, you know, and he was like, I don't know anything about it. Like, you know, he knew the building, but that was about it. You know, he was like, so I don't have anything to do with it. And it was like, oh, okay. So it was like where is this mass company? You know, where'd they come from? You know, like.
If you go back in footage on the YouTube channel for Rocket Pro, he actually says they even named the damn company after me when he was getting all cocky. And we can go on and on about when he gets cocky and with whom.
Yeah.
Hey, leave my friend alone.
I've been telling you, Red, for a long time, you need to come get your boy. Victim Cookies is acting up, man, and he's not acting a fool.
He's not acting a fool. Again, he's defending himself. I've got friends there, and I feel they being mistreated. But
are we talking about Flash? Are we talking about Idol Flash?
Yes.
Well, I can tell you that Flash has problems with Chet Gunderson.
Oh,
ain't nobody else that has problems with him. For some reason, he thinks that Chet has it out for him, and it's really not the case. You really got to show up to wrestle, and that was what Chet said.
You know, that's funny that he doesn't show up to wrestle, Red. What do you say about that? I mean, Flash is talking all butthurt, but he ain't been there. And when he was there, he couldn't even fight a fictional scary character.
First of all, I am not gonna let y'all besmudge the name of Flash Harris. I'm not.
Or is it Rico Paisley? There's a lot of names he goes by.
And here's the thing. They're your champions, so stop. Now we're starting the year off wrong. Stop it. Let's go on to the next question.
Let me tell you that I am not biased about anything. I know who carries those titles. I love all the guys that carry the titles. I really can honestly tell you that it's Kevin Palmer, which some people know as Nuke, the King of Doom, who does all of who's fighting who and who's doing what. So when it comes to me, I'm just the paycheck. So again, I never had anything negative with Flash. I love it. I love his entrance. He's got one of the best entrances that we have. So again, I'm not coming off on the wrong foot. I was merely stating fact about Chet Gunderson, who did kind of have a ringside thing going. Steve, you saw it at that 2 matches ago at Harvest Havoc. So, it's just my observations, Red. And I didn't mean no disrespect to the belt or to the person wearing it.
Well, and that's fine. That's fine, Bill. That's fine. See, I just have a problem with Steve.
Yeah, that's true.
See, Steve has a problem with Marche. Steve has a problem with Flash, Rico, Paisley, Harris, whatever you call it, But the problem is, it's all Steve. Steve does not like my guys. He don't like my guys.
That's not necessarily true.
He doesn't like my guys.
I like Renee Van Peebles. She's one of your guys.
She's a girl. See right there. See.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. My fault. My bad.
Bill. So how long has Rocket Pro officially been around now?
Since October 11th of 2018. And we lost a year with COVID. A little over a year, if you want to get technical.
Yeah,
the best of the Midwest was a gift given to me or to Rocket Pro and or the talent in the area by our pastor, Father Tim. He kind of took pity on us and said, you guys need to keep yourself alive during this pandemic. I'll let you have 75 people, which is what we are allowed, spaced out. Do what you guys got to do, set up the ring. We wound up filming the 36 matches in one day, one Saturday, to do all of that, including the Tyler Bodine match, which was our first shot at going live on Facebook, which was a train wreck, by the way. But
he said it, I did.
Well, I'm not talking about the wrestling match. I'm talking about the
no.
On my end of it, I am not technical, and I'm doing the best that I can, knowing what needs to be done in independent wrestling as a whole. And that is to give the best arena to showcase the talent. If you ever notice, there's never a word Rocket Pro Wrestling in any entrance at my show. And the reason for that is because that footage, if I can give 4K high def footage to every wrestler that comes onto that ramp, that should be able to be used by them to move themselves forward. Hey, I would love it if they said, I used to wrestle at Rocket Pro, and all of a sudden they're in AEW. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
That is the thing that jumped out at me, Red, above everything when I walked in the night before my first show, Darkness Falls. Cool enough was the fact that there was going to be a last ride match with a hearse, which had only been done 2 times previously, both by The Undertaker. So the last ride match number 3 happened in Joliet in October. It was pretty impressive. But when I walked in and saw the 20 by 20 ring, and when I walked in and saw the way it was set up and the production value, and Bill said, "Hey, Steve, look at this." And then all of a sudden my name is up on the Jumbotron. It gave me chills like I have very rarely had in this business. And I knew at that moment that there was nothing else I was going to be doing as long as they'd have me that first Saturday in any given month, because I want to be there working there. That's how impressive it is, just from a production value standpoint.
Oh, I don't deny it, or I won't ever take it away that the production value. So you've got to remember, little known fact. Here's the funny part. So
you playing the drinking game at home. He said, "Here's the funny part. You drink."
The ARC was on the original Rocket Pro show, the very first. So you have to understand when we walk in. Now, I've been in this business for years. And do you know how many companies you walk in and you hear all the lip service, and you're like, we'll see how long it lasts, because again, you haven't even had your first show. And I get to the building. Now, mind you, I never been to Blitz because Blitz usually ran on nights I was already booked somewhere. So I never got to go. So I walk in the building and my mouth dropped. You have to understand, most rings are not 20 by 20. So I haven't been in a 20 by 20 since Windy City. So that alone blew me away. But then to see that the way everything was set up, like just, I got to sit down with some of the guys, later, but I told them if they can keep this momentum and, because the production, the presentation, that's the best way to put it. The presentation was already there. Like they had surpassed a lot of companies.
Just about all of them.
So it's like if I've been working at company C for 4 years and they're nowhere here, like where is this company gonna be in 4 years? And the funny part,
drink, that's 2.
some of these companies aren't even around anymore. They're not.
That's true. We can personally attest to that.
Yes, we can. But Rocket Pro is still here. And the production value has not went down, and the presentation is top notch.
And the crowds are flame throwing. These are some of the hottest crowds I've ever worked in front of.
I miss those crowds, especially the kids, because I've never seen kids. It's almost like their parents don't feed them until after the show. So they're starving and they're all into it. And it's like, okay. But the Rocket Pro fans, the production value, the presentation is top notch. So if I never told you in person, Bill, I'm telling you virtually, live here on the Power Hour. Thank you. Yeah, but it's rare when you can walk into a situation with a brand new spanking company, because most people, what do? Oh, I'm starting the show. So they rent a ring, so they're either renting somebody else's ring, about that, Steve, or they're going to get somebody's third hand ring, turnbuckles missing, you got to put
the mat doesn't sit quite right.
The mat doesn't sit right. The beams are off. It's crazy. Yeah. They're putting out the broken chairs because that's the only chairs they got.
I believe Aaron Xavier calls that tax refund wrestling.
Very much so.
I believe that's what he calls it.
But
he is the evil genius after all.
But again, to walk into a company day one and like it was funny. Me and Rion Skills, we were standing on the apron at one point, and we said we were scared to even get in the ring. And it wasn't because it's a 20 by 20, but it was so clean. It was so fresh.
They got these nice white ropes now. It's very impressive. When Darkness Falls had, and it was all bathed in purple. What a stunning visual when you watch those videos. It was stunning.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, Bill, he did it. Here's a guy you could, and it's funny. It's funny. Um, you could, he just told us about his beginnings, but you can see that he took this seriously, and he kind of had researched. Otherwise, again, most people just buy the first thing they see. And you can tell that he's a businessman, and he didn't just buy the first thing he saw. Like, he put together everything that was needed to already be at the one of the top companies in Chicago and the surrounding area. And again, like I said, the crazy part is I'm booked this month. Steve, you're booked this month. And I guarantee you, I'm thinking off the top of my head, and actually, I can probably come up with one or two companies that can compete with Rock and Pro when it comes to presentation. And again, I'm working a lot this month. Knock on wood, hopefully. So
You know what?
says a lot.
I take that as a great compliment coming from you, and you're right. We never had a chance to talk after I got up and running. There's a lot of guys that come from your demographic that have helped me start this company. Rion, a lot of the idols, especially Rion. I mean, I can't thank Rion's skills enough, because really he was the heart and soul of helping me. The quiet guy at the end of the phone that gave me what I needed to succeed in Illiana, if we like to call it that, because Joliet is still a part of Illiana. I mean, we're all right in this little section here, and I respect that. I respect everybody that came to me, everybody that helped me. As I grew, Rion was the recipient of, I can't call them hand-me-downs because the stuff was new, but Rion and I worked out deals to where the stuff moved to different places where he thought it was needed most. Marche Rocket has been in this since the first year. Shogun, first year. And believe it or not, being a fan of those guys actually helped me, because I could talk to them and they knew who I was. I was the guy who never left the bar unless Billy Whack was out there.
Billy Whack. Shout out to Billy Whack. Where the hell are you? We were literally begging Billy Whack.
I mean, seriously, Marche would come out, Bill Schelli would come out of the bar. This is all pro blitz now. Shogun would come out, Bill Schelli came out of the bar. Billy Whack came out. He didn't even know he had me as a fan. And I mean, I was one of his biggest fans. I loved it. He was what I like. I favor the heels. I always have. And I enjoyed that. And believe it or not, that helped me get closer to these guys. I learned a lot, especially from Rion and Marche, about one hand washing the other in this business. And it means a lot that these guys took the time out, and I call them my veterans because they're all veterans. And they even, I've heard them and watched them help some of the rookies. And this is what you got to do. And you're running too long. And I hear these things, I might be on the lighting system, but I could hear everything going on backstage, which is really kind of cool. I also give a whole boatload of credit to Kevin Palmer.
Oh, Kevin.
People don't realize, but Kevin Palmer and he was the manager at Menards in Bolingbrook. I own my own plumbing and heating company. I don't have employees. I only like to manage me because I can count on me. I show up to work. You know what? I do the job. I go home. I get paid. So 5 o'clock in the morning, they would let the contractors into Menards in Bolingbrook. Kevin Palmer was the manager there. So he would walk around with me throughout the store, and we'd talk about wrestling the whole time. So in a sense, the company was also formed at Menards in the aisles with Nuke. And if you think about how many guys came from Menards, Riley Kramer, Jeff Steeples was a Menards guy, and all these guys all worked at Menards. Well, again, these are guys that started and helped me out. which is fantastic. And I really want to make sure that I give that shout out to Kevin, because without Kevin Palmer, Nuke, King of Doom, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yes,
Kevin's really innovative. He goes after talent like I've never seen. He messages me all the time. What do you think of this guy? What do you think of that guy? And he's so intuitive. And then after he talks to these people call me and say, this is one of the nicest people I've ever talked to about wrestling ever in this business. And he's like your representative. I mean, he is your liaison to the talent in many ways. And talk about just a gem of a human being.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He's become like family to me. I don't make a move without him. And if you look at the bigger productions, the top brass and the guy with we call it the paycheck, the guy with the paycheck is not the guy that does all that. It's too much to even ask of that when you're dealing with contracts and insurance and security, and the actual arena setup is all me. And of course, my brother Knights of Columbus, who are also getting a shout out right now, because I couldn't do it without all the volunteers. Not one of those guys that you see working with me makes a dime. They're all Knights of Columbus. They're all through the church, and they all love coming out and being a part of the independent wrestling circuit. So that is another shout out to them.
They do great work and there's somebody everywhere at Rocket Pro, taking care of the fans, taking care of situations. There's always those guys are Johnny on the spot. So just having them around just makes everything flow better.
It really does. It really does. I mean, I learned so much. And again, I also credit, like I said, all the veterans. I watch every move. I do look at other companies constantly to see where I can improve and what I can do better. But I'll go right back to what I said before. And it's all about the talent and them progressing themselves up further. That's what's going to give Rocket Pro the name. It's not Rocket Pro that's going to give Rocket Pro the name. It's the talent that gives Rocket Pro their name. And you're included in that.
Thank you. Right now, the talent at Rocket Pro is some of the most cutting edge workers that are working right now. And you're talking about how Marche and Shogun and the vets like that work with the younger talent. When I get there and I'm getting changed, I sit back and I listen to a lot of the conversations that happen. And I work with Marche in many different places. And every place I go where I follow Marche around, he's one of the great molders and leaders in a locker room where people gravitate toward him naturally because he's so gifted and so popular. But Marche doesn't matter who you are on the card. If you're a person that's setting up chairs and you want to be in the ring someday, right up to people that are doing headline matches, he takes time and talks to everybody that wants to talk to him. And I see him every night, after every show, out at his car, continuing to talk to people as he's trying to go home to his family. They just don't grow him like that anymore. Kayfabe aside, there are people in this business that are very I, me, mine, and there are a lot of them. You see it. I don't see that at Rocket Pro at all, but plenty of places there are people that are in it for themselves, and you can tell. But people like Marche Rocket, he's working in one of the biggest promotions in the world at NWA. The man's flying here and there and everywhere on some of the biggest stages. But when he comes to Rocket Pro, he is so invested in making this promotion great and spreading his wisdom. It's just amazing to watch.
It really is. I mean, and I'm blessed to have him and Grin returning. Another thing with Grin is Grin was one of the ones I would come out of the bar for. And I've been wanting to get Grin since we started Rocket Pro. And again, I credit Kevin because we wound up bringing him in and nobody expected him at that last ride match.
Just since I've been there, when I show up doing my first job for you, the main event is a last ride match with Marche and Logan. And that match will sit for itself as one of the great matches that I've ever seen. from the hearse itself to the use of the plumber's wrench to everything that went into it. And then it was the fall of Marche Rocket, the hero, that night. And that's a very powerful imagery and a very powerful storyline, right up to the bartenders that were so pissed off they wouldn't serve him because they were so mad at him. That's how effective that was. And then you have the fall of one hero, but then you have the return of Grin simultaneously. So that whole situation at the end of Darkness Falls was incredibly powerful. And then just a few months later, you have the return of the Filth King to Joliet in Brubaker, who had made St. Joe's Park famous when he was doing headlining work with Blitz. So it's like the universe is just loving Rocket Pro right now, because all of the heroes that have made that building so hallowed are seemingly coming home, which is, that in and of itself is very powerful imagery. So, speak to that. I mean, these storylines are epic.
And I'm going to go back to a couple of episodes of the Power Hour prior and credit C Red on something he said about stories. If you don't have stories, you don't have a wrestling show.
God, C Red has said that so many times.
He said it. I sat and watched that episode and read 100%. That is what it is. And you may mention that other promotions are just booking matches and throwing them out there.
That's right.
Well, when I go around, which is what a good promoter should do, to see what's going on in his comp set, I'm seeing exactly what you said. And I thank you for kind of prompting that in my thinking of saying, go out and look what's going on. Because in that episode, you definitely had brought that to my attention. I didn't even realize, but my guys, or the guys who are working in my production, they're doing it because they're doing what they do, and they're not being told what to do by us. They know what their story is. And you were right in saying that about Marche, that, a lot of people don't like it, but Marche may have got the short end of the stick many times, and it turned him into this.
It did. A lot of people say that.
And I agree with Red on that 100%. So I do listen and I do watch your show, and it does make a lot of sense, especially what you said, Red, about people just doing this just to put the names out there. So if it means anything to you, we're all listening to you, buddy.
Well,
everybody listens to Red. Everybody listens to Unk.
Nobody listens. No, but, and that's what sets Rocket Pro apart. Again, when let's not even put me in the business as a man that goes to work and I get a check, so I have cash. I've worked hard for that cash. So if I want to come to a show, if I go to a theater, or if I go to a play, or if I go to any kind of performance, any form of entertainment, I want my money well spent. And they get that at Rocket Pro. There's a lot of companies that will sit here and say, you wrestle him, she wrestles her, and you're trying to figure out, okay, and you'll even sometimes go up to the booker, okay, so what's the story here? Oh, no story, just wrestle. Huh? What? Like, okay, so who's the baby? Who's the heel? Oh, you guys figure that out. Huh? What? Like you said, you grew up watching it. And think about that moment you said that turned your son from Star Wars into wrestling. It was just that entrance, just the gong, which everybody loves, but you knew that there was a story behind what was getting ready to happen. Again, that's what you want. Because guess what? if the story ain't finished, I'm coming back next month. Like, let's go back
and see what happens next.
No, but I'm saying, so Marche and Logan get this last ride and all of that, and then Grant. Well, hell, I've got to come back now. Here, Grant just returned, and like, oh my God. And that's what keeps people coming back. Again, when you have good and great stories, actually, here's the funny part.
4. That's 4 drinks, kids.
The stories
right at this point.
The stories write themselves. I've worked with companies. Oh my God. So early in my career, I worked at a company, and I won't put them on blast. But the promoter put on matches he wanted to see. And it's like, okay, why? Like, and you think it's gonna go somewhere, and then 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, so where I was a good guy here, now you want me to be a bad guy. And there's no rhyme or reason. There's nothing. It's just because that's what you want to see done. Okay. And he couldn't understand why the numbers were dwindling, and it was like, okay. So stories are important. As far as leadership, going back to Marche, Rion, Logan, those guys are now with Grin and the Filth King coming back. I'll speak for Marche, because actually that's the only one I can speak on. That's how we are, because again, if you don't reach back and help the younger generation, then the business is going to be lost all entirety. It's going to crash and burn sooner than later. And like Steve said, Marche is always willing to help. I do it, and again, a lot of people think I do it like because I want something out of it, and I don't. I just, if you're going to do this, I want you to do it correctly. And
That's because you're a teacher, right?
Well, that too.
That's true.
But I want people to, understand why you're doing what you're doing. You've watched the show, so you've heard me say, I hate flippity flops. I hate them to death. I hate them. And people, well, that's because you can't do them. Well, if I really wanted to, I could.
I'd like to see that.
Marche probably wouldn't let me do it.
I want to tell Marche that you want to do flippity flops.
Marche wouldn't even let me dive before. So, but it's because when you're putting together a story, it's got to make sense. Like, let's be honest, Steve, Bill, how many times have you been invested? You've sat down for an hour and a half to 2 hours. You've watched this movie. Oh my God, you think this movie is one of the best you've ever seen. And the ending messes you up to the point where the whole 2 hours that you just spent, you feel like you wasted it.
That just happened
Just
over
because,
the weekend.
just because of the ending.
And that's a good analogy. That's a real good analogy. That's true.
So if everything from the start to the finish has to make sense, and if it doesn't, then I feel like I've wasted my time. And if I feel like I wasted my time, why come back next month? Why reinvest money when I could just go to the bar, or I could go to the pool hall, But again, that's the one thing that Rocket Pro has done. Even when I was there, it was the stories that were moving along that, guess what? You're going to start at A, but at some point you're going to get to Z. It's inevitable. And everything has been woven since the first show all the way up to this coming Saturday.
Right. With this Saturday, everything that you just talked about is going to happen.
Yes. And we're going to talk about that right now because we were talking about Marche falling, Grin returning, the return of the Filth King. Well, if you need storylines, we got plenty of them for you this Saturday night.
First of all, right there, you don't need no storyline.
Well, what I'm saying is Joliet's favorite son, Gunner Brave, joined the ranks of the Idols of all things. And that shocked everybody. So now I'm referring
especially to you.
Yeah, me too. And I'm referring to him as Victim Cookies Jr. I feel like he and Marche are McCartney and Wonder from 1981. You know, it's Ebony and Ivory there, but that's neither here nor there. So we've got that storyline happening. And now the Idols are slowly putting their hands on the throat of this company because we don't know if Marche is a member of the Idols or not. The Idols basically saved his championship a few months previously. So now you've got the Outer Limits champion and the heavyweight champion running with the Idols. But then suddenly, in what was absolutely unreal to me, the heroes of our story are slowly becoming those damn coyotes. I thought Christian Rose was a bastard. Now he might be my favorite guy at Rocket Pro because he's putting everybody on his back and they are going up against the Idols who are trying to take over. These are fantastic stories, and the payoff Saturday, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be unbelievable. Who knows?
You know, well, I can honestly say one thing about the Coyotes. They came in with their guns blazing.
They sure did.
They really, really wanted that arena. And they wanted those fans. And, you know, you got to give it to the Coyotes because even their promotions, even the stuff they throw out on social media is provocative, a little wicked, but yet totally cool. Totally. You know, when you're a wrestling fan, that's cool. And again, I favor the heels. That's just what's in my blood. Lord only knows what's going to happen this Saturday. And I am happy that it's the first match.
All the Coyotes are in action at some point in this show. And let's not forget that Christian Rose owns the Rocket to the Top briefcase that he can cash in whenever he wants. So last ride, triple threat, I would not get up before that match is over. That's like leaving a Marvel movie before the end credits, because you don't know what's going to happen after it's all over with Christian Rose. He is the ultimate opportunist. And on commentary, it's some of the most fun I've had in this business ever, going back and forth with Christian Rose. He is an impressively talented human. And right now, him and Berna and Deshane, they're all at a point right now where they're going up against the Idols. And you're right, it's the opening bout, the Idols versus the Coyotes. What a way to start.
Right, because you know, Steve, once both of those entities are in the arena, they come out whenever the hell they want.
And it
nothing is scripted at that point with both of those entities in that building.
And first of all, it is so wrong of y'all. So let me correct this.
Oh God,
Johnny Nye, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Johnny!
Happy birthday, Johnny!
Oh, see, that's how little you are underestimating the Idols.
And I don't underestimate them. I just don't like them.
First of all, it's a lot of people you don't like. You don't like the Idols,
and a lot of people don't like me. So I like to.
You don't like the ARC. You don't.
No, I love the ARC. I love the ARC.
Now you love the ARC. Pick a side. Which one?
It's like I'm bipolar with my fandom.
I
I
see.
should take some pills.
Yes, you should. So again, while y'all, howling over the Coyotes,
Oh, here we go. Let's have a little bit more Flash Harris love. I'm gonna be sick.
it's not just Flash Harris, but you gotta understand. I have a deeper connection with the idols.
You love Kevin Kane. You love Damian Gray.
I know the idols. I know the organization well. So that's all I'm gonna say is that the idols will always have a place, especially when it comes to business, with the ARC, with me in particular. So I mean, don't count the idols out. Don't.
And you know it's inevitable. You know he's out there somewhere. Roth is out there somewhere.
And what's wrong with that?
Nothing. He's the only idol that I have any use for.
He's got one of the best entrances at Rocket Pro. The kids go nuts when he comes out. And you know what? We had to extend the song because he takes so long getting in the gosh darn ring.
That is Joey Roth in a nutshell.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I actually love that. So, and you know what, Steve, just to defend you a little bit, you did say that the idols had their hand on the throat of Rocket Pro. So you gave them their due in the beginning of that conversation.
I sure did.
You did.
I'm a journalist. I'm a commentator, and I speak only fact and what I see.
Well, you spoke what you saw because I see it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wasn't expecting the interference by them. And I don't think any of us were. And it's hard for me to even control lighting and sound when I got guys running out all over the place. But you know what?
Yeah.
It with all due respect, that is a top line match. The other thing I just was going to mention is there's not a lot of tag team titles out in the independent wrestling world right now. The actual titles that we have were designed special. And if you wanted to just touch base on what we're doing with that tag team match, I know that Haas is coming all the way from Ohio.
They are.
And I don't know much about them. You guys may know more than I do, but I'm very excited after watching some of their footage prior to this show.
They are a very, very interesting tag team, but they're coming west to fight our guys, the guys, my guys.
No, they're your guys.
No coast, baby.
No,
that's how we're living, C-Red. It's a no coast world.
No,
and you're just a squirrel trying to get a nut.
Look, Morris Day.
I'm glad you caught that reference. I was throwing myself out there. You're my Jerome, or am I your Jerome? There's a dynamic here.
I honestly feel Bill gave all the props to Kevin earlier. And I'm not taking anything away from Kevin. But I think he just signed No Coast's death warrant.
Come on, man.
Okay. You know what?
If Youth Gone Wild couldn't kill No Coast, come on.
Youth Gone Wild, I know, is very raring to come back to prove whatever they want to prove. It's just the writing that's on the wall, rumors that I've heard. Again, I don't know much about what goes on. I'm just a paycheck. But with No Coast and everybody else coming in with that tag team match, it's anybody's game at that one.
Tag team action at Rocket Pro is at a premium right now, and Kevin is doing some amazingly innovative things with that title. First of all, No Coast is a company or a tag team you can build a company around, and the talent he's bringing in to test them. Stop shaking your head. Joey Blues is from the streets, just like you.
You know me and No Coast still. Okay.
Yeah, you got no love for No Coast. I know this. Something else that's happening this Saturday night, as if we haven't given you enough. the debut of one of the most, what words do I say to describe this man? I've been working with him for quite a few years. The reaction that everybody has when this man comes into an arena has to be experienced to believe. But Kevin went out and got the Ryan Matthews. Oh God. Oh God. And
I
just
saw him at Berwyn Championship Wrestling, and
his whole head.
He was good. There was some ego there, though, boy.
The only thing bigger than the cut out of his head is the head attached to his body. That man is 120 pounds, 130 pounds, bodybuilder, solid muscle, all ego. But he is gonna tear it up. He is gonna blow Joliet away. They don't know what's coming, but they will very soon. And he's fighting Drake Dixon. So that should be one hell of a match on a card that is just stacked. Mercenary Garrison Creed versus the Assassin, Ruthless Rockin' Rivera. That is a match of two warriors. I mean, that's gonna be a slugfest from jump.
That's
right. That's the Mercenary invading Joliet for a war, is what that is.
He's coming.
It's an actual war. And that's the way the flyer went out on social media today. This is war.
This is war. And I know Turtle is not a big Ruthless Rockin' Rivera fan because he heckles him every time he comes out. So we'll see how Turtle does with Rivera as he faces the man that's operating worldwide. Another stellar match. We got a lot going on. The Outer Limits Championship being defended by Gunner Brave, Victim Cookies Jr. against a member of the Coyotes. The Technician, Damian DeShane. Let's not think for a moment that is going to be a one-on-one match. Let's not even imagine that that's going to make it through its time limit without 15, 20 people coming out of the locker room. That match right there is the most unpredictable thing I've ever seen. Number one, because Gunner Brave doesn't care about his body, safety, or even necessarily the fans, because I don't know if you saw that footage, Z-Red, where he jumped from the top rope and went through 4 rows of people.
Okay.
Man has no regard for his safety.
We already knew that when we interviewed him. We talked about that.
That's right. So he's going to face one of the Coyotes. He's an idol. The Coyotes, the idols. It's chaos. Chaos is happening this Saturday.
It's not,
Resolution.
It's not
well, the other thing is, one thing you don't want to forget is one of my favorites coming up in the ranks is Quinn Wittock. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he is a bit angry.
He's angry.
I mean, and when I say a bit, I'm probably being nice.
Yeah, he's mad at me because I keep calling him the king of the hot dog. So now I have to come up with a bunch of new nicknames for him this Saturday, which I'm up to this challenge. I've got about 17 of them. So
well, it's definitely not something you want to do. And I didn't hear any smack talk because you don't want to smack talk Just Amazing either.
Just Amazing might be the only person at Rocket Pro more pissed off than Quinn, because that man has gone through hell. He got taped to a table to lose a match. Red, that's ARC business. Taping people to tables.
We do more than just that.
I know you do. I know you do.
Just saying. But
and if all of this wasn't enough, perhaps for the first time in any promotion ever, a triple threat last man standing match. Every time I talk about it, people are like, a triple threat last man standing match? How does that work? Come to Joliet Saturday night and you will find out how a triple threat last man standing match works. You're not going to want to miss it because it's so innovative. It's never been done before.
That's more than $15 worth of entertainment. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are.
Take a business loan out for entertainment like that. That's Vegas stuff.
I pretty much had to.
How you going to announce it, but then don't announce the participants?
Well, I'm getting there, Red. We're talking about Vegas back in this now. This is Vegas stuff we got going here. It's more entertainment. You could spend $15 in Joliet and be more entertained than you were this past Sunday at Soldier Field. And it's much better product.
That's always.
The champion, Victim Cookies himself.
Hey,
Marshe
call him by his name. Not Victim.
And the man, the victim of the hour, Marshe Rocket, will be defending his title. Now, my broadcast colleague, Schelli, decided to give Marshe December off. I've never worked with a commentator that could just give people time off. Schelli is the straw that stirs the drink of Rocket Pro, apparently, because how is I can't give anybody time off. So
you know what?
You just got there.
I'm not going to tell that Cicero chick what to do.
But you know what? Obviously Marshe is and Schelli have some kind of relationship. We don't know what, but the Filth King debuted last month, and now Jay Beck, the Paycheck, has decided to put Brubaker in this triple threat match. So the man debuts at Rocket Pro, and now all of a sudden is in a title competition, which just speaks volumes about the disrespect of the most respected man in that locker room, Shogun Chris Logan. That man has been put through hell in a handcart to get a damn rematch. It's disgraceful.
Yada.
What? A 5-count match. Did you see that crap?
Okay,
and why did you just get a damn rematch? That's why they call it the rematch clause. Even your time at Shikara would have gotten a rematch.
First of all, don't bring up our fabulous time on the East Coast. Second of all, again, when Marshe is ready, he didn't say he wouldn't give him one. Just when he feels like he's earned it.
What? Rematch clause is a it's not a what earn what?
But is there a time limit to it, Steve? See, understand as somebody that does contracts.
What are you on Shelly's team now too?
You're guaranteed your rematch. It never states how long you have before you can get.
Did Shelly send you cue cards for this show? What the hell is going on here? That's exactly what she said.
Steve. Who are you talking to?
Shelly's best friend, apparently.
How many times have I done contracts?
Yeah, I don't want to hear about this.
How many titles have I held? How many titles? So
True.
I understand the ins, the outs, the loopholes. So the Shogun wants his rematch. Marshe never said he would not give him a rematch. He just hasn't chosen to give it to him.
Yeah. And there's one more storyline that's happening that's been kind of building over the last couple of shows that I've been watching, and I've been commenting on it, and it's always there.
What's there?
My first choice to run for president in 2024, Chet Gunderson. Half man, half amazing, more amazing than all day Marshe Rocket Chet Gunderson. That's what I'm talking about. The man is ahead of his time. He's genius.
You know, if we can get him out of the bars on Cermak Road to actually do his job, there might be something else to it.
See, I'm wondering about the hint of romance between Chet and my broadcast colleague Schelli. I feel like there's something there. We're headed to Cupid's Carnage. We're about to be springtime in love. I'm just wondering if there. I'm not the only one that sees this. And
well, I can tell you, Chet speaks highly of you when I do talk to him. He don't like me either. But he doesn't like Schelli, and he certainly doesn't like Professor Blackburn because of his mouth.
Or Professor Blackburn.
Professor Blackburn will be joining you at the next show.
Well,
this coming Saturday, along with Miss Cicero herself, who will be there to dictate more things to more people unnecessarily.
We are going to have an episode of Maury on commentary. I'm getting to the bottom of this.
Now you know why I just sit by the lighting rig.
Now I know. She's a handful. That one's a handful. I've worked with a lot of people on commentary over the years. She is her own deal, man.
First of all, stop. She's a beautiful woman. Stop it. So I can understand why Chet is trying to hide his feelings. He's probably too. So Steve, this is what you do. This Saturday. In
January
Joliet.
the 8th.
January 8th in Joliet.
St. Joe's Park.
St. Joe's Park. I need you to get there. Get there early.
I'll be there early.
And you find Chet. He's probably going to be at the bar.
I'll find Chet.
And since you have a beautiful, loving relationship, I don't believe I'm getting ready to say this, but give him the Steve Aaron handbook on how to woo Shep.
Oh, there's no handbook there, boy. That handbook's called Crash and Burn.
See, now I was trying to be nice.
I appreciate that, but even Bill's like, yeah, there's no handbook. Even Bill knows there's no handbook.
Well, I mean, I know your wife just tolerates you because
she does.
So, but
all right,
I try to be nice.
I live with the toleration. I get that a lot everywhere.
I was trying to be nice,
and I appreciate that. Bill, how proud are you of Rocket Pro Wrestling? I mean, I watch you work when we're there on the Saturdays we run. And from the moment I get there until the moment I leave, you never stop. Whether it's adjusting some carpet on the entrance ramp or fixing a chair position or adjusting a light fixture, you are everywhere. Your blood, your sweat, your tears are purple for Rocket Pro. You've got to feel just overjoyed at the reception and the fan support and the people that just want to work there.
I do. And I'm telling you that I'm blessed with everybody that is there. The excitement that happens the moment you hear the song by Europe, the final countdown, that is, take your positions, everyone. That's what that video means. And all of us get that knot, including you, when you hear the final countdown by Europe.
No doubt.
It's time. And all of it to me is to see those kids going back and forth with the heels and the faces, because those kids pick what they like, a heel or a face, at a very young age, just like I did, just like Red did, just like you did. And to see that is the reward that I get for fixing every chair, for making it all perfect. Then I am proud because I go home and I have it on YouTube. I have the addition of Elliot Blackburn, the professor's son, who's now our cinematographer.
Unbelievable work.
And when I watch it, I'm proud of the company and you guys and everybody. I'm proud to be a part of independent wrestling. I'm hoping to God that when we have this independent wrestling banquet in Rosemont, that maybe I might get invited. Hint, wink, Red.
Come on, Red.
Okay.
You let Chaz Moretti go to those things. Why can't you let Bill?
I would think that we would actually have a table or two.
Come on, Red.
I was hoping for like maybe production of the year.
I'll talk to somebody.
I would love to be a part of it. I've watched that with you guys for 3 years. I saw you get your award. I congratulated you, if you recall, on your award. And I would certainly like to be a part of it going forward. So those are the things that pride brings into the picture, is that I want to be a part of it.
Well, let me say this. And this is Red shooting from the hip. you've been that way, the way Steve just described you since day one. And again, coming in, like I said, to the very first show to work for you. And that's something a lot of times you don't see. You don't see the owner promoter constantly moving. What got me is that it wasn't even the first show, it was the second show for me, where you walked around to everybody in the locker room, making sure they were okay. You're okay, you're okay, you need anything, you're okay. And that was kind of odd because you don't normally get that from a promoter. Then to see you out with the fans, the consumer, the paying customer, whatever you want to call them. And to make sure, and you didn't do it during the matches, which I totally appreciated because it would have took away from the matches. But you made sure, especially during intermission, that everybody was okay. And again, you don't get that. I can honestly say, Bill is the real deal. I rhymed.
Rion, where are you? Can you feel it?
I wonder, can he? But he is. And you can just see it. You know, again, a lot of times you kind of feel like people are faking it, you know, or some people have been doing this so long they really don't care, you know, but you can honestly see that Bill cares about his workers. He cares about his production, and he cares about the fans, you know, and that's like, if that's a checklist for success, then like, Bill, you've already checked off all the boxes.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks, Red. I appreciate that. It makes me feel good coming from you. It means a lot. You've been in the business so long. I do watch what you do, and I am appreciative of all the compliments. Thank you very much.
Well, Steve knows I don't give compliments unless they are deserved.
Yep, I never get them.
No, ever. Like, that tie is horrible with that shirt.
I love this tie with this shirt. It makes my eyes pop.
But nobody can see your eyes. Think. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, I don't do this. So you've watched the show. So I'm sure you've watched me cut down many of people, Bill.
I have.
So you know,
got the Ginsu effect.
And it's funny. I got a message from somebody, and again, I won't mention names. And they asked me, they say, "Are you really interviewing the owner of Rocket Pro today?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Is that good?" I'm like, "Dude, Bill has been aces with me."
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
I'm like, and here's the thing. Rocket Pro, again, Steve can contest, there are companies that when Rocket Pro first sprouted out of the ground of the Chicago independent wrestling scene, there were companies that were like, we're here. And guess what?
Not here now.
They're gone.
They're gone.
So, and let me go back. You talked about the Facebook Live video. And yes, it was horrible. But I don't think it was horrible in the sense of the wrestling. Again, I think it was like you said, you guys were just trying to figure out how to use it and make it work. And I only saw Rico's match. So I only saw Paisley's match. So You could have figured out after that or whatever. But just alone to have, let's just say the balls, because that's what it was. In this time where people needed to take their mind off of all this stuff, you guys had the balls to say, we're still here. We're still care. We're trying to just, even in your home, we're trying to take your mind off of all of this craziness that's going on in the world. And again, so I commend you, because guess what, Bill? And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Nobody fucking did it.
Nope.
Nobody.
I guess
Nobody decided.
You know, I didn't even
say,
think of that. I didn't even think of that. Nobody else did.
Nobody else. And I'm not saying they should have.
No, but
all
just
I'm
putting
saying
out
is-
a match a week or a couple matches a week did keep people in tune with what we were trying to do.
But
And it
you
wasn't
did it.
necessarily about Rocket Pro. It was about keeping these characters alive.
But not only, again, it wasn't just about the characters. Again, you gave people an escape during a time where they needed it. And yeah, let's be honest, WWE did it. And oh my God, let's be honest, after a while, it just, I was happy. Yeah, oh, they're not going to stop wrestling. Yeah, we're still going to have Monday night. We're still going to have SmackDown. Great. After a while, I got tired of seeing people's faces on monitors. I just really did. But no independent company was putting out any footage. None. Now they might play a previous match from 3 or 4 months ago, or you know, a flashback, you know, but nobody had
New
their
content.
guys come in, and this is what's still going on now. So again, you guys at Rocket Pro, I don't give a damn that the Facebook Live didn't work. You guys kept the matches. You put them out when you needed to put them out, and you made it make sense. Because why does it make sense? Because it makes sense this Saturday in Joliet. You see what I'm saying?
I do. I do.
There are a lot of companies, again, that next week are going to run, and the week after that are going to run, and the following week. And guess what? They can barely remember what they ran in November and December.
It's true.
But yet, like I said, from day one through a pandemic, and even though we're semi back in one, you guys have not, some people just coast. You know, you just put the, you know, you just put it in neutral, you just let it coast. Rocket Pro didn't do that. You guys kept it in drive, you kept your foot on the gas, and you just kept moving forward. So again, I commend you, because a lot of people didn't do that. And some people even fucking crashed into brick walls. So it is what it is.
Thank you so much for that compliment, man.
It's a night of compliments. And like I said, C-Red, you got to come get your boy. Victim Cookies is acting the fool. Come get him.
He's not acting the fool.
You might be the only one that can save him. I'm going to leave a ticket for you every month. You go to the ticket counter, and there's going to be a ticket for C-Red under Morris Day. So you say, is there a ticket here for Morris Day? And there will be one for you. Come out and get your boy. I know you can't this weekend. I know you got other shows to do, but I'm going to put a ticket there nonetheless. Come get your boy.
Look, my boys, my guys, they're not boys, they're guys, they're men. They're fine. They just want things done in a fair and right way.
Fair and right way. And that's how we end this show. Don't miss Resolution this Saturday night, January the 8th, St. Joe's Park. It is going to be from start to finish an epic thrill ride of twists and turns. You're never going to see it coming. And
What
then
time? What time? What time?
doors
open at 4 o'clock. Show starts at 5. That's just enough time for you to get primed with $2 beers, and you could still go out after the show, or you can stay and help me and put the ring away. Your choice.
Or you can get some fine food at Bruiser Newcastle's Emporium.
Yes, you can.
Hey,
So that's good.
I'm gonna say that was one of the reasons, I'm not gonna lie, that I do miss working at Rocket Pro, because you can go, you know how it would feel to be done, and you get home and you're like, it's 8:45. I'm at home.
No, you
I'm
don't
not-
go home. You have a dinner at
No,
Bruiser
I'm
Newcastle,
just saying,
get $2 beers.
you be done so early. You know, if you call one of your buddies, hey, your match happened yet? I'm done. The show's over. Y'all ain't even hit intermission.
Again,
So-
that's us catering to those kids. Those kids don't stay up late. They get bored. And we want them in, we want them out. Mom can get a babysitter till 9 easy. But she has trouble getting a babysitter till 11 because, Brittany or Jessica has to be home. So we kind of watch all that crap, which makes it a little easier for us to do what we're doing to cater to those kids, because those are future wrestling fans for this business, like we talked about.
That's what I talked about.
I thank you guys so much for allowing me to be on the Power Hour. I've been wanting to be on the Power Hour for a year, and here I am on the Power Hour. So there's a little taste of success there for me.
And we can't wait till your next episode, which will be coming soon, no doubt. Don't miss Resolution this Saturday night. And if you miss Resolution, which you shouldn't, February 5th, same place, Cupid's Carnage. Just let that title roll around in your mouth for a while. That's a lot to say. A lot of innuendo there. What could happen? You don't know. And next week on this show, to react to what happens this Saturday night at Resolution, is Rocket to the Top briefcase holder, Old Evil Christian Rose will be our guest next week.
Wow.
So you're going to want to see that, because he might be the champion by the time this thing's done. You don't know what's going to happen. That's why you got to come to Joliet. Bill Schelli, you're a prince of a human being. We love you. We thank you. And I'll see you this Saturday at Rocket Pro, and your Morris Day ticket, Red, will be sitting there.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Power Hour. I'm Steve. That's C-Red. That's Bill. We will see you next week on this channel. Don't miss Resolution this Saturday night. You won't regret it. Good night, everybody.
Good night.